Good morning, folks. First blizzard of the year. We got wet. Come on. Winter came like a hurricane. No. All right. Can you see? Folks, I hope you can see. I don't have technical bullshit, but if you saw it, you saw it. 4 feet of snow. That's what 4 feet of snow looks like for you with your toes in the sand, basking in the sun. The hat is for effect. The Blizzard Show. Thank you, my people, for sharing and supporting me in every way that you support me. So, go get yourself something to drink. Everything. I turned the news on to see, what was closed. And it just said, everything's closed, all right? Then the Flintstones came on. They said, everything's closed. What are you, knuckleheads out there? No, well, there's a Sabres game going on. Everything's closed. We are up. I got the official tabulation. Oh, is it in? Oh, okay. It's just in for my producer. 275 subscribers. I don't have any technical help here. It's me, myself, and I. And we're more than adequate to do this job. Thank you, my good folks, for hanging in there with me and climbing the ladder with me. I appreciate it all. I appreciate it. You're good people out there helping me out. Now, you see Mike Franzese, Sammy the Bull, and look, how do you get rid of this shit? Hot girls are waiting here. Get lost. I remove them and block them, and then they still come on. Come on, YouTube. You got to get with your game. You're monitoring us, and then this stuff comes on. What are you getting a piece of the action of that? Huh? You getting a piece of the action? Wow. Look at these communists. Yeah, you're monitoring me. I better leave it at that. Thank you, YouTube, for letting me have a channel. But you really got to monitor. I remove those ads all the time, and they still come on. What does remove mean and block? Mike Franzese, Sammy the Bull. Now, there's a thing called ideological subversion. All right? Hey, Uncle D. We got hit hard over here. Yeah, I got my jacket on, this on, the power's out, no heat. I'm trying to stay warm. Nah, I got heat. This is just this is the Blizzard Show. This is for effect. I don't want to do my hair. Really? Nah. It's not a hair day today. Boom. Ta-da. Good morning, Lorenzo. How you been, buddy? So, we got a blizzard of 4 feet of snow over here. The hat is for effect, and that explains it. You can only doctor this shit up sometimes. Gets tougher when you get older. Ta-da! This is Joe from Russia. I'm from the Ukraine. We have the Ukraine pipeline. I would tell you a story about Russian mafia and Mike Franzese. We did lots of business with Mike Franzese, the Russian mafia. they were actually in they turned him on to the gas scheme, or led him in the right direction. The ideological subversion, which I was talking about, you demoralize a population, you change the perception of reality. It's like brainwashing, and then there's a crisis and normalize it. But if we only go to the front, Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull, they're changing the perception of the reality of what happened. Oh yeah, where are you, Lorenzo? I talk to my people here. I talk to my people. I'm not a snob. I'm for the people, by the people, and if I'm elected, I'll turn this country around. If I went to politics, they'd assassinate me, because I'd win. Real big 2 words: ideological subversion. So it's your ideas, ideological, your concepts of thinking, and your brain apparatus. Oh, New Jersey, that's right. Thanks, Uncle D, for being here a long time, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate my people. I'm a softie. So this ideological concept, you could implement it on people, friends, family, or a country. And the KGB were doing it years ago with a man named Yuri Bezmenov, and they transferred it to America. And it's like you say, how can people be so stupid and vote for the people that are hurting them and be so hypnotized and brainwashed? Well, it's called ideological subversion. That's how, a cup of JoJo. That's how. If you want to know the psychological answer, that's how. When you just know, and then you defend being oppressed. You defend your oppressor through academics, media, print, social platforms. When you control those entities, you control the people's minds. They don't realize they're in prison, and they're supporting the prison guards. Sounds good. Thank you, Uncle D. Thank you, Uncle D. I appreciate your support. Been here a long time. We're climbing the ladder, and I try. I try. So when Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull get up there, great storytellers, mafia stories, beautiful stuff. And also this ideological concept of mafia, the mafia world, ideological subversion could be implemented just the same, because they're changing the perception of some of that's some stories. Now there's other steps to ideological subversion, which is destabilization. This is on a country. This isn't just for a person, but indirectly. Demoralization, change the perception of realities, brainwashing, destabilization, crisis, and then you feel like normalized. So, well, the normalized, as far as, I mean, you feel that was the normal flavor of that life, which for the most part it is. But a lot of times they are changing your perception of the reality of what happened, because they were lying. Okay, that's all. That's all. But I mean, it is what it is, and And okay, so I just wanted to implement that into um I just wanted to marry that because if I put in the thumbnail ideological subversion, I might get 3 views. But Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull, yeah. So there's people running around claiming to be a relative of Sammy the Bull and everything else, and they come up to me and some are positive, some are negative. Whether you're a nephew or whatever, but I can't be intimidated. I can't be intimidated. I mean, if you're getting a piece of the action and he's a relative, Sammy the Bull's a relative, go grab a couple dollars from him. You know, I mean, Mike Franzese, he's just not accessible. Nobody in his world is accessible, Mike Franzese. He wasn't accessible when he was supposed to be accessible. Mike Franzese, he was nowhere. He was nowhere. The only time Mike Franzese became visible when there was big money in play. And then boom, boom, boom. But he had a lot of people around him, the Colombo family. And my godfather was in the Colombo family. And my godfather was made aware every time I went down there on my bread and milk run. And they would, they were surprised when they said, "Oh, Joe is your godchild." Yeah, Jojo is my godchild. So you better act straight with him. But there were only time they would come out, and you'd go to New York City over. I can't even think of the street, but I remember going to meet, driving from Western New York and going down there to the city, and the recording studio for I don't know if it was Def Jam or Jay-Z and all them, but I was waiting to meet them, and I seen those rappers over there, and there was cameras and all that, and I was like, geez, this is not the right spot to be doing this. There's a news station or entertainment bullshit over there. But I don't know if it was Jay. It might have been a different rapper, but they're making a big to-do about it. Nonetheless, Mike Franzese only came out when some money or an idea of CPW. It's a winter wonderland. So that's how Mike Franzese rolled. And but Sammy the Bull and Mike Franzese, when they're doing this intentionally or not, that ideological subversion is in play. Oh, those sound like big words, a couple, Jojo. No, it's just submitting your mind for these concepts. They're telling you stories and everything else, and they're submitting your mind to the stories. And like I said, whether they're true or false, who cares anymore? But it's a key. If you're doing that to a country, you could systematically, over decades, get the politicians in who you want and everything else. And that's the way it goes. It's a big word, couple of big words, but it's just submitting your mind. You know. Good morning, Heather. I got to be afraid if there's a woman in here that she's a troller or not, because they are all Brittany Griner fans. But thank you, Heather. I believe that you might be legitimate. I appreciate you subscribing. But the other time I was like, oh, thank you. Then all of a sudden they were all trollers, and it was like, No. But I ran them. I shredded them all. They want to do psychological warfare with a cup of JoJo. That's that. That is that. So this ideological subversion is like, don't pay attention to that CPW. Don't pay attention to that bullshit. So they'll submit your mind down. So, I used to say, oh, he's lying, or whatever. They're getting submitting the mind down systematically over years through schooling, college, TV media, print media, commercials, and then you just believe that's normal. You become normalized the way they're normal. Then you're not traditional normal thinking person. You're the new normal. There's just too many gangster stories on YouTube. We hear that at the same, just different people telling them, but you are definitely special. Thank you, Lorenzo. I appreciate that. Yeah, we whore ourselves out to the thumbnails and the stories and everything, but they just want to keep you submitted into this thought process where they don't tell you they don't want to tell you the whole everything that goes on. In the book, I don't know where it is in the book, I really try to show what I was feeling during those them times and doing these things. They're telling stories about whacking and everything else and all this violence, but what is the emotional aspect? Okay, you said that, Sammy the Bull. You said that, Mike Franzese. Now you're trying to submit and subverge my mind to that story ideal. But what was the emotionality behind that? What was the emotionality? Get lost, Heather, and your bullshit. You Joe Biden cronies. You Brittany Griner. Oh, I sent her some quilts, crossword puzzles, and word searches. All right, I got the address to Siberia labor camp. Okay. So they don't show you the emotionality. I wasn't a player in that world, but even at a minimal level of just knowing these people as just common friends is still, but when a country and nation ideologically subverts your mind and submits your mind, you don't even realize you're getting brainwashed. You're getting you're getting conformed from an early age, from a very early age. Sorry, Rob. So that's a big word. That's a big couple words, and it happens in politics. And they use it. Well, why would they use it? Because they want to keep power. They want to keep power of whoever they have running a country. So when you change their thinking and their minds, and you could tweak their minds through their perceptions of what they see and what they're taught, you could retain power. So the KGB defector from Russia came to America in 1981, 1984, and they transferred that over to, those ideals. They transferred them. So that's like pretty slick. So kind of, and then you could see why Joe Biden got however questionable votes that he got. If he got 1,000 votes, it would seem amazing, but the millions of votes or whatever that was, their brains were submitted, and I'm just using that as an example. Some people might disagree with me, but that's all right. So when you transfer manipulating a person's mind or a population's mind or an audience's mind, that's how it goes. It's just insane. And people will defend those ideals. People will vote for politicians that promote things that are going to hurt the country. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. They're not subverting my mind with their ideals so I could buy swampland. No. They want to keep people submitted down below poverty, and then have them believe that those are great leaders. And then as long as they get their entitlement check. It's really crafty brainwashing. They did tests in California in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, controlled experiments on people, and they tested different things on them, and then it came out. The results were like, yeah, we can manipulate. This will work on an audience, on a population. And Sammy the Bull and Mike Franzese, no, that will work. That will work on an audience, a demographic, a country, a population. So very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. And when you could control people's minds and brainwash them without them even knowing, and then lower them in their quality of life and still defend you. It takes a lot to oppress a person or a population and still have them defend you. It's like you're defending the guy that kidnapped you. So very, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. And so when you have when you implement that type of stuff, it's like in what arenas do you say, well, YouTube, I mean, in that kind of stuff, it's more or less government, politicians. So, and I mean, it's not a drastic thing. I mean, Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull are telling you stuff, but it qualifies. It qualifies in the first major point first major PowerPoint of ideological subversion, because you're changing the perceptions of people's realities for their benefit. Well, they could tell good stories without even lying. They would still retain their audience. They would still retain their demographic. They would still retain that. But it's not a matter of a cup of JoJo saying he's lying, he's telling the truth. I don't do that anymore. I wanted to peel a couple layers back and just show that it's just a YouTube channel, and they can manipulate that to their benefit. Because who cares about what the reality of that story being true or false? It's just like, wow, Mike Franzese tells a real good story. Sammy the Bull tells a real good story. They'd have a million views if they did a video about how to bake a cake. So they already have market penetration, brand loyalty. They already have that, So they're really, really good about doing that. They're really good on basic marketing concepts. That KGB defector that came to America, Yuri Bezmenov, that is like some serious psychological stuff that's been used in America for decades. But I believe in the next elections, where they're trying to change the perception of America's realities, and they could throw everything through media and advertisements and programming, but that perception of the reality that everything's fine is going to wear off. And it was displayed during the last elections, where it looks like the tide is changing, where you're not submitting their thinking that much anymore, because people are like, I don't care what you're spoon feeding me, I can't survive over here and support my family. So when that takes over in a citizen's mind, and it's like, I'm not submitting my mind to your ideals anymore, and we're going to make a change. So, what changes your mind from being submitted by whacked out ideals and policies from elected leaders? Well, money, and how you can support your family. That might wake people up. So I wanted to throw that around a little bit and, show that topic and how it's been used in America, and then try to segue it over to the perceptions and realities of a couple of gangster YouTube channels, and where it's not really that big. I mean, they changed the perception of reality, which would mean they are lying, but it don't matter if they're lying or not. It just doesn't matter. They tell good stories, so they keep their audience, they keep their views, they sell a lot of things, and they do a good show. That's all. It doesn't matter. But when the government is lying to you and oppressing you without you even knowing it, then ideological subversion comes into play. And people that defend that, they came in here, the trollers came in here, and they defended that. They don't even realize that their mind and psychological thinking is defaulted, and they will, when they go to the gas pump or they go to the store to buy goods and they see everything, it's a block. They will never think to say, oh my gosh, what has our new leader done to us? everything's gone. All the prices went through the roof. There's still a roadblock where what does it take? I say let gas go to $20 a gallon. Let a loaf of bread go to $10 a loaf. Because what breaks that submitted mind? Money and the ability to support your family. Then you might snap out of that brainwashing. Because at the end of the day, you can have politics and everything else, and whose ever team you're on, but outside of politics, you have a family to support. And some people have money and the inflation doesn't bother them. But the demographic that supports them people are usually poor. So you think sooner or later they'd snap out of it. Because, honey, I don't have enough. We can't make ends meet. So money can maybe snap people out if they're not that embedded, brainwashed, and submitted thinking that sooner or later, 2 more years of this leader might get your mind unlocked to say, we went broke, we went bankrupt, we couldn't make ends meet, we need a change. That might unlock your brain from being submitted. And the people come on here and they defend, like whatever the trollers do or whatever. They don't realize that they're defending policies and leaders that have submitted their minds. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I love it. I invite them in here. I love it. I love psychological stuff. I love it. So everyone that comes in, it's just exhibit A, exhibit B, exhibit C of how their ideals have been submitted, and they defend that. They don't think about that when they're pumping gas or buying groceries or paying energy bills. They don't think about that. They just keep the blinkers on and they keep getting submitted and they keep supporting politicians that promote the agendas that keep them down. Fascinating stuff. I'm not Democratic or Republican, but it just seems like in this era of America, it's the Democrats that are demonstrating this. It's like, I wish I had them on a slow boat to China in a card game because they wouldn't have their socks left when we got to China. They'd have been jumping. They'd been jumping into the ocean. Oh my gosh. But we're having a blizzard here. I wanted to do a morning show and talk about that ideological subversion. Yuri, Y-U-R-I, Bezmenov, fascinating stuff. And it's what is happening right now in American politics. And it's crazy. Hello, Al, if you're not a troller. How you doing, buddy? If you're a troller, thanks for the comment. It helps my algorithm. But if not, hello, good morning. But I find human behavior, human thinking, human motivations, and what you rah-rah for and what you boo, what you cheer and what you boo. You boo the stuff that's going to help you or a candidate that will help you, and you cheer for an oppressor candidate. Holy moly, Batman. A lot of that stuff doesn't affect me. I do my own thing, and I'm fine. But these young people with families and with families to support, it's comical and sad at the same time. But I think the tide is changing, and it was displayed in the last elections, and now it might carry over unless people want to they want to just stay brainwashed. But they'll be broker in 2 years. So it's safe to say that those people whose minds are brainwashed, you're going to be broker. You'll be broker 2024. It's safe to say. All right. And maybe that's what it takes to unlock your brains. That's why I say in other videos, I hope gas goes to $10 a gallon. Then you'll say, geez, I'm not going to cheer and applaud my oppressors. You won't be taking any vacation next summer. It's going to get worse. You think inflation's going to get better? Gas went down 3 cents. Wow, they had a big party on CNN. It's up 500%. You see how they're submitting your minds? Do people really buy that? They watch CNN and they spin it a certain way to keep your thinking apparatus submitted, subverged. Big victory. Yeah. Gas went up $5, $6. It went down 3 cents for a half a minute. They had a big parade. And the Democrats are like, yeah, our leaders are really helping us out. Yeah, okay. How does your submitted mind process? We were energy efficient. We weren't dependent on any foreign oil. To stopping our own fuel line to buy from countries that are our enemies. How do you Democrats or Republicans, how do you submit your mind to accept that and defend the leaders that implemented that? How? Your brains got submitted. Your brains got submitted. You don't think about it when you pay your energy bill. You don't think about it when you go to the grocery store. You don't think about it when you're at the gas station. You've been submitted. You know, like in the UFC, they tap out. You tapped out. You tapped out. And your bankroll is going to be tapped out because you're going to be broke. But you're cheering rah, rah, rah for the people that are keeping your asses broke. That's all there is to it. That's all. That's all there is to it. And it's a testimony of how the human mind can be manipulated by media, news, ads, programming, everything under the sun. And it's been studied with experiments for decades. And it has to be utilized very strongly during a guy like Joe Biden, because he's going to need people really to be hypnotized. I mean, if there ever was a candidate in the history of America, this ideological subversion would have to be implemented at every level, TV, radio, print, every level, to keep your brains brainwashed. Yep, you're right, CPW. So when they pushed this Joe Biden in, the Marxists and the communists, well, this was a communist tool from the KGB, and they're bringing it in, and they're using it in a free country like America, quote unquote, and they had to use it and implement it in a historical level to keep people rah-rah on Joe Biden. How does any one person in our country applaud Joe Biden? Their minds have been submitted. In the UFC, you would have tapped out. You have lost your mind, and now your mind is now the possession of them people manipulating it. Fascinating psychology. Fascinating psychology. But like I said, what does it take to unlock that mind back to normal? And because they think that's normal, then they reach a state of psychology or a state of mind that they think things are normalized. And then they accept things that they perceive as normalized. But no, back to old school normal, when you're not being oppressed and manipulated, that might start to happen with the new leaders or anything. But I don't say the Republicans are innocent as much as the or the Republicans, there's guilt on both sides because this is a uniform policy that both Republicans and Democrats utilize. It just seems that the Democrats happen to just be more evil during this period of America. They're really going beyond. They've really gone too far. They've really gone too far. How they've changed school, the legislation, how they've changed with bizarre concepts that you would never think they would try to impose and implement, and total Marxist tactics. But that's what's at play. That's what's at play, and it's unbelievable. Mike Franzese, Sammy the Bull. Your perception of reality of the mob world, they paint a picture, but they don't peel it back far enough. They know what you want to hear, so they just keep it right in them. They stay right in those lanes. They know what Joe Blow, citizen, gangster fan wants to hear, and then they'll tailor their stories that will most likely paint that picture that they want. It's changing your perception of the true reality. And that's when I used to call them liars and everything else. But who cares? It's YouTube. Let them rock and roll. Let them rock and roll. Outside of that, they're senior citizens and they're just making their way through the world. You can only get tripped out on it so much. Then you become submitted. Then your mind becomes submitted. Because there's no value to that. Not even trying to get views and all that. There's no value, psychologically speaking. So I got the KGB hat on. I got the Russian hat on because it's the KGB that put those ideals into America, and that's that. Good morning, Mario. So they submitted the mind. The KGB defector transferred that ideological subversion practice, tactic concept into America, and they've been using it. They've implemented it more now during the Biden clown administration because he has so many deficits and faults. They really got to blur the reality. They really got to change the Americans' reality. So they needed that tool more than ever currently during Biden's administration, because how do they applaud a guy that's oppressing? See, the KGB in Russia were experts in oppressing population, communism, Marxism. They were experts. And then they bring a defector over to tailor in America that really knows. And it'll take 20 years of a cycle, because the 18-year-old students, they got the mush mind, and they'll believe anything you tell them. And if they see it on TV and they hear it, they believe it to be true. So they're already captives. Their minds are already taken captive, and they might not ever snap out of it. But in this time right now, they might be brainwashed. But when their pockets broke, then they might finally stop and say, honey, we've been broke now for 4 years. Enough's enough. They think they're broke after 2 years of Biden. Wait till 2 more years. The brainwashing might stop. They might get their mind back. They might get their senses back, because money could change your thinking. When you're trying to survive and support your family and you can't, that might flip your mind back. But a lot of times it doesn't, because there's been captives held hostage that have been abused and raped and tortured, and they still love their oppressor. So we'll see what happens. But thanks, Mario, for jumping in here. We're rising on up to the top, and I wanted to do a little segue and to transfer that over to Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull. It's sick and tired. I keep talking about these guys, but at least I'm honest about it. It's odd. It makes the people take a peek at me, and then hopefully they'll like me. You still like me? This is Joe from Russia. Your brains have been ideologically subversed. We will brainwash you into believing everything is fine. You will applaud the people that oppress you. You will applaud Brittany Griner. You will applaud Joe Biden. You will applaud Kamala Harris. Hey, Vic. Good morning. We will take your mind and brain over. You will starve and freeze, and then you will still come out and vote for our leaders. Your brain is now ours. We are from the KGB. I don't know if that's a Russian accent or not. But those Russians, I knew some way back. Serious people. Serious people. Smart, a lot of smart, They were in bed with Mike Franzese that got that whole gas scheme going and educated him more or less to what was going on. And Mike Franzese had the resources to get to all the gas stations more or less and utilize it. So we're having a blizzard here. We got 4 feet of snow still coming down. I says, well, let's do a blizzard show and let's talk about ideological subversion. Not so much about Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull, but tried to get a curveball over the plate, and that's that. Got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. We're up to 275 subs, and share the videos if you like them. We're showing good, steady growth, and that's all right. It's a hobby of mine, and that's what I do. That's what I do. I do the spiritual stuff. I try to bring people's minds up and their spirits up, because there's people struggling, and under Joe Biden, you're going to be struggling a lot harder. You got to stay strong. Even you Democrats, you got to stay strong until you wake up. Because, deception, Satan is the great deceiver. Lucifer is the great deceiver. These Democrats are deceiving the people like Lucifer. And they're like, we love you, Satan. We love you. You've been submitted. Your ideals have been subverged. They've been submitted. Ideological subversion. Some people's minds get unlocked. Some people's minds don't get unlocked. They just live in la-la land and fairy tale land, and they're knuckleheads. Complete knuckleheads. So that's that. Excuse me. I'm batting down the hatches. We're supposed to get another foot of snow here, and this storm just came. Boom, 2 feet of snow in no time, and it snowed all night. And Democrats, wait till this month's fuel bill comes. It's 20 degrees out. It's 20 degrees. So what will change your thinking? Well, I can't wait for that energy bill. Can't wait for that heating bill to come. Still cheering. We'll see how long these northern embedded Democrats, they'll keep cheering right till they freaking walk off the plank right into the ocean. They'll keep cheering. They'll be on installment plans. They'll be on installment plans to pay their gas bill and their heating bills. They'll still be applauding. Rah, rah, rah. While the Democrats are choking them. Rah, 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 rah. We love you, Democrats. Yeah. Fascinating psychology. Going to be a long, cold winter for the Northern Democrats. And I feel bad for the real thinking people that have to struggle and try to afford and make ends meet. It sucks that the thinkers have to suffer because of these corrupted, fraudulent leaders. It's communism that you don't even realize. It's actually defines Marxism. But yeah, that Gretchen witch over there, where Michigan or whatever, they'll be getting blizzards left and right. Gretchen the witch, whatever, she looks demonic, and they rah for her. Their state is in a dumpster. New York State's in a dumpster, and they're rah. Fascinating stuff, my dear friends. Fascinating. I'm going to keep this stream going. Please excuse me. Thank you, Victor, Mario. I don't know who the other one's in. I blocked them out. But I'm going to go. I got a Keurig now. And I'm, thanks to Robert B., my new sponsor. Now, he's a buddy of mine. Good guy. So we're going to chill. I'm going to get a coffee. There's a blizzard. I'm not going anywhere. I ain't going anywhere. No, proper grammar. I got to put the pod in, put the needle on the record, and we're going to keep this show going. We're going to keep rocking and rolling. We're going to rock and roll. Hang in there. Got to get my coffee on. Thank you, folks. I appreciate it. We're going to stay alive here. So, I need more fuel. Yeah. I break all the traditional YouTube rules with lighting and tech and all that, but guess what? We still rise. There's no fear here. Who leaves the camera during the thing? So I got enough supplies. The snowmobiles are out. It'd be nice to have a snowmobile. And I'm on the road a lot, and it was fascinating to see Biden and Democratic signs on people's yards. But I actually saw, because there's some that go overboard, I actually saw new ones, Trump 2024 signs in people's yards that was the Democrats, Biden. I was like, maybe they're sick of their minds being submitted and they had enough. Maybe those people unlocked their minds, because I remember Biden signs being over there on a main thoroughfare, a main route, a main highway. I was like, did new people move in to that house or what? Oh, well, the Biden supporters probably went broke. They couldn't pay their mortgage, and the Republicans moved in. That might be it. The Democrats are going broke because that market segment demographic are people in lower income levels. So it had Biden up there before. Now I saw Trump 2024. So they went broke, couldn't pay their mortgage, got evicted, and the Republicans slid in there. Maybe. Fascinating stuff. Connect the dots. Connect the dots, folks. So we're approaching an hour long, and there's nothing happening. They turned on the news. for the closings and the news said everything's closed. If you got a snowmobile, go rock and roll. Everything's closed. So I hope there's a cold spell. Freeze the Democrats. See how long those entitlements. Yeah. See how long. It's bad to say you're supposed to do a spiritual uplifting show, a cup of JoJo. But when their bullshit is affecting good people trying to make it in this world, in this country, in their lives, supporting children, and you got these bad apples screwing them up, it takes drastic measures. What do you think? You can't pity-patty and tiptoe around this shit. Excuse me, pardon me. No. You got to get hardcore now. You got to get their hardcore, so you got to be hardcore. You can't tiptoe around this. They want your soul. We don't go out like that. I called this way back in college, back in the 80s. I called it 40 years ago. People thought I was nuts. But there were some other things going on that certain things that were close to me that I was made aware of it. But we can't talk about that because they're watching. So, and who cares? But I was made aware of it a long time ago. And they're using it now because they got a clown president. So they really got to hypnotize your asses a lot more. Yeah, I mean, print media, everything else. Sports. So they use sports as a tool. They use sports as a tool for all their political bullshit. Sports used to just be sports, you know. We watch sports and all this and that. But now they have the players wearing stuff on their jerseys and then everything else. It's like, we don't want to see that. We want to watch sports. They're trying to subvert your brain and mind to the brainwashing. Right down to that bullshit. Things on the courts. Well, it's all the corporate billionaires that own these teams. They're the psychopathic pedophiles that buy in and they want your brain and they want your money. They want you to be a hypnotized, conditioned consumer. Oh, is that a conspiracy theory? No. It's reality theory. You're brainwashed if you would say that's a conspiracy theory. Your mind is demented. Your mind is subdued. Go get yourself a cup of coffee. If you can't pay your bills, go get yourself a shot of whiskey. My people are doing fine here. My people are doing fine. That's all. But it's that population that are all the cheerleaders. They're going to be broker. You think 2 years of Biden has led to this? Just 2 more years. 2 more winters for the Northern Democrats. Thank you, my dear friends, for coming in here. I'm doing a morning show. There's a blizzard. We're talking about a couple of things. Mike Franzese, Sammy the Bull, how they changed the perception of reality. And we're talking about America, the tools in place implemented by the leaders that change your perception of reality. Then there comes a time where we don't even care what the reality is. Our minds are mush and we're just going to the slaughter and we don't even care. And just let it all be. They're kissing. There's 2 men kissing on TV. It happens all the time. Or there's a commercial and the men are kissing. It's like, what? The men are kissing. Commercials. So now, is the majority of Americans in agreement with that? And all kinds of perverted shit that you're seeing on TV now. All kinds. You want your 7-year-old boy or girl to watch gay stuff on TV? They want to submit your mind to thinking that's acceptable. If they put that up there enough times, you think that that will be acceptable. Brainwashing. They control the media, they control the ads, they control the social programming, and they're perverting it as much as they possibly could. That's what we're left with. So that's that, folks. We'll leave it at an hour. Thank you, Victor, Mario, my homeboys. Uncle D is back. CPW. The trollers. Thank you, trollers. Maybe someday your brain might get unmushed, you know. But thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it all. So be the kings and queens of your world. Stay safe. If you're in the north, stay home. Make a hot cup of tea or coffee. And thank you for helping me out. I really appreciate your support. And we're rising up. Go get my book, They Dead Missed, Amazon Books and Kindle. Share, like, subscribe. Do all that stuff. Help me out. Yeah. And we'll get together again real soon. And maybe later on tonight. I don't know. There's a storm going on. I'll get cabin fever. So I want to be with my people. So thank you, folks. Be the kings and queens of your world. Don't ever give up. Okay? Even during hard times with these whacked out leaders, don't give up. There'll be sunshine again. It's not partly cloudy. It's partly sunny. No, Jojo, there's a blizzard going on out there. Metaphorically speaking. So don't give up. The world is a vampire. It wants your blood. And these leaders want your blood, mind, soul, spirit. So thank you, folks. I'll be back, holding down the fort and rise up. If you can help somebody out and you're able to, help them out. If you need help, you don't have to be like a strong macho man. Hey, Rick, I need some help here. I'm tripped out about this stuff. I need help. So love and compassion are the tools to the kingdoms of the universe. Love and compassion. All right. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate your support. Like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. Buy my book. I'm eating bologna sandwiches. Thank you, folks. I'll see you soon.